Good evening.
Come on, a little more energy than that. I've been up all day too. Come on, let's go. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I'm glad to see all of y'all here tonight. This is our second annual town hall tour. We want to try to do more of these. I think we get more. We learned last year that we talked too much and that we needed more time for questions. So tonight we're going to try to give you, I'm going to try to do it in 30 minutes. There's so much going on, it's really hard. And then open up for questions so that you can answer questions about things you want to ask about or hear about or something we may not talk about, a clarification. And you may ask us something we don't have the answer to, but we'll get you the answer, I promise. I'm very excited to be here with my colleagues. We have our district rep from District 1, Miss Tina Herbert here and live. Come on, give her some love. We have our at-large member, Tyler Bailey. And hopefully we'll have Reverend McDowell who get here. Unfortunately, he had an appointment and it was running late, but he is on his way and he will jump in the conversation. But we really wanted to kind of fill everybody in on what's going on. And it's a tremendous time in our city. I have to tell you, I mean, it's so exciting to get up every day and wake up and have an opportunity to be in this community, in this city. I mean, this has become my home, but there's so much energy. There's collaboration going on. There's growth going on. And it's all leading to us having a better quality of life. Look, the goals that we've set is that we want to have the #1 city in South Carolina, but not by population, by quality of life. And that needs to make sure that we're engaged with everybody and you're engaged. And so it's very important that we continue to communicate with each other, that we continue to work together to take care of all the problems and issues around. We've made a lot of changes and made a lot of investments within a city, and our city manager and her executive team have done an incredible job of making sure that we're making those investments, that we're investing in technology and training and the things that we're doing to improve the quality of service, because we are in the customer service business. That's what we do. Are we perfect yet? Absolutely not. Are we getting there? Yes. But we only can do it if we continue to have dialogue. So I will tell you, when you call and somebody calls and says, well, I hate to complain, don't hate to complain, because I think it's a compliment. Because if you didn't care, you just put something on Reddit or some one of those things where I'm going to be honest with you, I'm never going to respond to, because I don't have time in my day to go digging through all that. I'm responding to people who reach out. That's why we have our phone numbers, our emails that are out there. And if you don't get us, text us, and we don't call you back, hound us. We are going to respond to issues, but we've got to communicate, because that's how we solve problems. But I want to give you a little scenario around growth and development. So in the last 10 months, we've had over $500 million worth of single-family, multifamily, commercial, and trade permits. That means people are building and investing in our community. We're working on a citywide real estate consolidation, meaning that we're moving our staffs into buildings where they're more efficient, more opportunity to integrate so that we don't have silos, that they're working together. What's the benefit for the community out of that? Obviously, better efficiencies, more moving things faster and slower. You know, sometimes we're kind of slow because we're a big battleship, but we want to change that. It also allows us to take these properties and put them back on the tax rolls, or use them to create some workforce housing and opportunities in our downtown and our other areas, because that is a major concentration that we have to look for. We were able to get the William Street Extension project to open up the historic river access that really will help us connect. And why is that important? Because 27 miles worth of trail will be the end result. That means Casey, West Columbia, Lexington, Richland, the City of Columbia, Irmo, Chapin, all coming together, along with the Boyd Foundation, who are helping us with the bridges, the Mungo Foundation, who helped get the right-of-way easement to the dam. and Dominion, who got us access to 200 acres on the river, so now we can connect that. So that means we're going to have 27 miles of connectivity. That means when you want to have a mini vacation, you can have a stay vacation. That means that you can go stay downtown, take that bike or walk over to West Columbia, have breakfast, make your way to the back of the zoo through the botanical gardens, hop on the new tram that they're going to have and cross over the river, hop on Candy Lane, go on up a little bit, maybe take a nap in one of our hammock parks, make yourself all the way up to the dam, cast a rod, get you a striper, head back down the hill, cross over into Elmwood Park, stop at Into Coffee, make your way over to Segra Park, watch a little fireflies, and then...
In one day?
Hey, oh yeah, it can be done. And then make your way downtown, have a little dessert, or if you like a nightcap, you can have that. Rest your head, wake up the next day, and say, wow, that's what it's going to look like, connecting all of our communities without you having to get in a car. We've been working on the canal. As y'all know, the canal is our main water source, 155,000 customers that are there with our water. But when the flood came in 2015, we've been able to do some other projects that allowed us to take advantage of our Lake Murray plant, but now we're going to have the canal coming back online. We're also being able to put in an alternative water source directly into the Broad, which means we got redundancy built in the system. So if anybody ever texts you and tells you to fill up your bathtub because you're going to need the drinking water, they're lying. All right? They're lying, because we've got you covered. Since 1835, folks, we've been providing water. We're going to continue to provide water for the next 100 years. And we're doing it all in a safe and protective manner. We've had almost 1,100 new businesses apply for licenses in Columbia. That's small, medium, and large. That means people are investing here. So it tells me we're doing what we should do, which is making an environment that is conducive to entrepreneurs and small businesses to come in our community. For a decade, we were only growing at about a 2% growth. Frank Rainwater from the state came and talked to us and shared with us that we've grown in the last 3 years by 4.3%. That means all the things that we're doing together is paying off. The investments, the training, the jobs, the innovation that our staffs are doing to make it a better quality of life, easier for people to do business, easier thing. People are noticing and they're coming here because we are the land of opportunity, I will tell you. Economic development is reaching out and they're telling our story. They're going to Charleston and Greenville and Atlanta and everywhere, meeting with developers and meeting with restaurateurs and businesses, making sure that they understand our story. And our main story is we support small businesses and we have a community that supports each other. So don't skip over us to go to Charlotte. Don't go to Greenville, because we are the capital city. And we are now acting like it, and it's a great thing, because for a while there we doubted ourselves. We don't doubt ourselves anymore. We know who we are. We're Columbia, South Carolina, the capital city of this fine state.
All right.
Yes, we are.
All right.
We're spending time in innovation, making sure that not only are we diving into the technology, but how do we deal with AI in the future? How do we use it to provide better service? How do we use AI to provide more to our community without sacrificing our community's privacy and protecting them? Thinking strategically ahead. We just had a member from the Bloomberg Harvard program come down and give us a lecture, show us what other cities are doing and how we can adapt this without creating problems, making sure that the guidelines are in. Our planning and development staff, we went through rezoning and now they're helping us with the guidelines, doing the master plan, took advantage of what we call the middle market study. And this was a study to show us what our future needs is, because we need somewhere between 15 and 16,000 units. Ms. Herbert working with the churches and other folks to show them how they can take this excess land and bring us more housing options for our community, because we need them. Because land is not a problem here, folks. Housing is a problem. There are over 2,100 empty lots in our community, and we've got to change that. We're doing it to the city. Our first homes that we're building are on lots that we've owned for quite a long on Randall Street. We're going to have homes coming out of there where we just finished a pocket park to be part of that. We're going to build some in Booker, Washington. Our economic development and our development corps are taking the lots that they own in several different neighborhoods, including Martin Luther King Park, putting houses back. But guess what, folks? We just don't need single-family homes. We need quadruplexes, duplexes, townhomes. We need an option. The study shows that 85% of the houses needed today fall around 3 categories. We have seniors and baby boomers who are downsizing, who do not want to leave the neighborhood that they live in. So we've got to create options. Single moms with no kids at home. Opportunity for home ownership or townhome owners, downsizing, but the ability to have something that they can build up wealth and pass on. And then we've got our millennials who just want basic, smaller needs, but that also jumps into the workforce housing. We need all of it, not just single family. We need everything now because that's what the future is dictating. Things have changed. We went from a community 20 years ago where everybody's building McMansions to now everybody wants smaller and less, higher density. They want to be more in a community feel. We've got to rebuild every corner, and that's how we do it, by adapting it. But we have to do it together because there are certain areas where we need to make sure single family stays, but we also got other areas where there are opportunities for those townhomes, those quadruplexes, those other times. There could be opportunities for people to own a quadruplex where they live in one unit, rent the others, and that's their rental income for their retirement. We have to think strategically, and I think that's what we're doing, and thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing on that. Upgrading all of our evidence procedures, continuing to invest in ShotSpotter, the things to make our community safe, upgrading our body cams and our GPS so that we can give different tools to our police departments and to our community to be safe. It's continuing to invest in a public safety. Procurement, we're taking advantage of everything that is happening in the city. Wherever we can, we have a lot of opportunities for advanced training through the Bloomberg Harvard program, and we just had a group that's doing procurement. We had folks down here that were helping us as we were working on our rapid shelter and designing that and working with our homeless solution for the future to make sure that the path that we're headed down is the right path. We're investing in our community parks and recreations. Our 10-year master plan, which I saw a lot of people engaged with. Probably my favorite meeting of all times out of all those meetings was at Booker, Washington Heights at Miss Bellfield's Center. I call it Miss Bellfield Center because I can still hear her in my ear.
Miss Bellfield.
But when you went there and there was a young girl who was in junior high who wants to be an architect, she had drawn up her own plan, what she thinks our park should look like. That's what community engagement looks like. That's what's exciting about what's happening in our community. Installing the fitness courts that we were able to get through Prisma Health. First one in Greenview, second one in Findlay Park, and then we're going to Maxie Gregg and Heathwood Park. So we'll have one in every district of our community. Help promoting health. It's part of our blue zones, changing so that we can be here when we're 90 together. All right? So let's do this together. Let's take advantage of these things. Designing the process of the Beltline project, which is adding a new community center and gymnasium along with some more outdoor features to complement the baseball park. All because Representative Rutherford worked with the city to follow a need that's needed there. We've got $6 million of the money so far. So being able to start building and investing in that. Our great departments like OBO, who launched the Toms Creek Market, our Instacart program. They've awarded almost $800,000 to 30 businesses in the Commercial Retention and Redevelopment program. Our Community Development Department, who celebrated 50 years and hosted workshops for tenants and building together workshops with our District 1 rep, Ms. Tina Herbert. But also taking advantage of, how do we take advantage of all the federal dollars and the state dollars and leverage those that we can create those home ownership opportunities, making sure we're there to help address those investments in housing, Our city manager put out an RFP that's coming to an end where we're bringing in these consultants who have done an incredible job of leveraging outside dollars so we're not dependent on federal dollars for housing. How we use private dollars and unique mechanisms to solve our problem with housing. Helping rebuild those empty lots we talked about. We got to have somebody to help us be a driver to rebuild back those neighborhoods one piece at a time. We want grocery stores, we want more retail, we want more restaurants. Guess what we got to have? Density. Can't have empty lots. They don't bring customers. But we can do this together. Using technology, using these consultants, and using the fabric that we have in place to create those opportunities. Investing in our utilities and water, obviously we're constantly investing in that. It's one of our biggest contributors. Our public works, working on everything from bike lanes to new LED, investing in there where we have more going on, that we're cleaning up more in forestry, more in beautification, making sure that we're maintaining so that people see it. We still got to work together to identify areas that we're missing, things that we can do to improve. So when we talk to neighborhoods and they say it's dark over here, well, let's add more lighting. Let's do that. Those are the things that our teams can do. And we got to give a shout out to Public Works for what they did on the cleanup. And look, that was so much debris. We haven't seen that much debris since Hugo. But the beauty part about the city is it wasn't just Public Works that was involved. It was everybody from emergency management to our city manager to our water department to our police department, our fire department. I mean, every group in the city was working together in concert to get through it. And, you know, having seen, we had more damage, especially in electric, than we had since Hugo. And now what it shows us is that we got to focus on making sure that we go after the dead trees and everything else. All the things that we can do to help prevent future of that. And that's us working together. One of the things we talked with the White House about was, is there sources of funding that can come in so that we can do preventative work, not just relief work, but preventative work, so next time this happens, maybe we have less power, less outages, less trees down. And how we continue to work together. Continuing to invest in our municipal court to reduce pending caseloads. We went from 8,100 caseloads down to 3,900, basically splitting it in half. By our staff working together and with our judges and others to make sure that we're moving. We're looking for a new courthouse down the road because Justice Square will be one of those properties that we sell. Investing in HR, not only from procedurals, but now that we have evaluation, giving processes for people to earn merits and bonuses. But also we had a record career fair. We had agencies, and what it taught us is that people still want to meet one-on-one. They want to hear about future jobs. They want to talk to people about, well, what will my benefits look like? How can I advance? You can't do that online. And so what we saw, we had, I think, 1,200 people register, 800 people show up. That's the kind of stuff we want to do, and we want to do more of that because that's engaging. We also have to do that with our young people. We need to get them into some type of internship program like that. So hosting an intern fair so that people know what their job opportunities are in the future. Public safety, man. Police, fire, Office of Violent Prevention, what they've done is amazing. Our police department, y'all, for a department has taken advantage of its technology, its staff working together, the retention programs that we put in, the salary, and all the efforts. Y'all, along with Office of Violent Prevention, shootings down 45%. 45%. This is where we want to be, but it's a lot better than where we were. Auto break-ins down 33%, because guess where the guns were coming from?
Cars.
Auto break-ins. Changing the narrative. Transported 1,100 people to the shelter in the overflow. Cleaned up 33 homeless camps. Code enforcement completed 16,365 inspections. Think about that. It's an amazing amount. And they keep doing more and more. And we're going to continue to invest with them because they're a key to help the quality of life. And I know sometimes folks say, hey, haven't heard back. Think about the caseload that they're doing. Give them a little bit edge. Maybe ping them one more time, but give them that edge, they'll get back to you. Columbia Fire, named Fire Safe Community for the 5th straight in the year. We are investing in our fire department, new fire home being built, firehouse, because let's face it, it's not a station, it's a house. This is a home for folks. Going through our assessment now on how we're going to invest in those houses and build a better quality of life of that. Investing in equipment. Looking at them, how do we make sure that we protect them so they can continue to protect us? Office of Violent Crime, 1,600 community interactions. Community outreach, 173 programs. All based in our community, have gotten over $700,000 in grants.
Right.
One agency working. How critical that agency is to be part of our community. And Trevon has done a tremendous job. We gave him an opportunity and he has just shined for us. But the beauty part for me is I can say that about every department in our city. Y'all, we have the greatest staff. I had 2 leading lecturers, consultants who had been in our city meeting with our staff call me personally to tell me how lucky we are that we have a staff that works together, that we're communicating, and that it's always about the greater good. Thinking outside the box and not afraid to present ideas, not afraid to grasp, not doing the dreaded thing. Well, we've always done it that way. The worst thing you can say in the English language. We don't do that. Thank you, Miss Wilson, for your leadership. Thank you, Henry, Clint, Missy Gentry, Pam, Tiffany, Denise, Dana, Erica, Elle, Ryan, Chief.
Oh, you did good.
Frank, Robert, Mickey. Our whole team. David Hatcher, there's our code enforcement. He said he could handle 18 or 19,000 cases, so y'all hit him up before he leaves the room. Our PR team, y'all, we are so lucky for what we have, and let's not take it for granted. Let's not take it for granted for what we have. Our rapid shelter, Miss Herbert right here tonight. Y'all, this is our angel that came to visit us and stayed with us and is part of us, because what she's done is we gave a mission. Our manager was able to put a rapid shelter together in 90 days. And since then, she has been running hard with her staff. We've gotten 67 people into permanent housing. 71, I just got corrected. The meter keeps rising. Meter keeps rising. Over 200 other referrals. But it's the incubation of what can be. We know if we can get people into individual units, then they can start getting the services, the wraparound services, and take them. Our goal is to get people out of their situation into a better situation. And we have to be part of the seed that plants it, and then the rest of the community organization. And what she's done, and every time that I get a referral, every time I get a call from somebody, hey, this is here, Kamisha gets it done, y'all. So thank you. 911 Communications received their 7th accreditation from CALIA, which is the top award for Columbia Richland Communications. Y'all, our 911 team, not only did they work overtime, they work double time. And what they do, and if you've ever had the opportunity actually to be in there and dispatch and see and listen to the calls, it takes special people to do that job. And we should be thankful that people can do that job, because without them, there's no lifeline. So we have a new branding, as you see. Why is that important? Because it really tells who we are today, because we are telling our story. We are marketing ourselves to the community. We are marketing ourselves to other communities and states and organizations, saying, this is where you want to plant your flag. You want to start a business, start it here. We have all the tools and the ability and the workforce for your business to grow. We want this to be the land of opportunity, not only for our citizens, but for people who want to invest and be part of a great community. So we keep on doing it. We keep telling the story. We've been hammering that because I think we've been the best kept secret in South Carolina. With that, Tina, would you like to talk a little bit about District 1?
Well, thank you, Mayor. I just want to add or emphasize something that you said and that should be at the forefront of our minds as council people is quality of life. That's the whole point of what we're doing. At the end of the day, how can we help? At least that's my goal. I want everyone to be able to live their best lives. I want to make sure that the city, with the services that we provide, we are not preventing folks from living their best lives. And that means giving quality and good customer service. But it's also important that no matter where you live in the city, how much you make in the city, or if you don't make anything in the city, or who your parents are, that you know that you have the opportunity for upward mobility and a good quality of life. I want to connect that to what the mayor was saying about the 27 miles?
Yes.
27 miles. I heard a statistic last week that men, forgive me, y'all, but no, men tend to live, they tend to live pretty healthy lives. Late in life, they will have some type of health thing, and then they usually die shortly after that.
Why's that?
I'm telling you what the people said. But let me get to the point. But the difference is, and this is for the women in the room, women tend to have health issues, and we linger, and we live unhealthy, like we live in a state that is unhealthy for like 10 or 15 years, as opposed to the opportunity. See, the men should be happy, as opposed to that later death. But it goes. I was watching TV.
We were going positive here, weren't we?
No.
I don't know where she's going here.
Well, no, but so that is where I'm going. The opportunity, quality of life is also tied into health. It's tied into wealth. And we need as many opportunities as possible and less hindrances to let us have that opportunity to walk or get exercise, get vitamin D. And I know that's very simple, but those simple things really do impact a person's quality of life. And so through community development, which of course is always my sweet spot, I think that's everyone's goal, is to look at the quality of life of each and every citizen to see what we can do to make their lives better.
Mr. Bailey?
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And picking up where Councilwoman Herbert left off, I think men die earlier because the women stress us out. That's always been my theory. Married men do live longer, but for some reason the man usually gone first, but I don't know. All right, on a serious note, I was elected
insurance claims
about a year and 6 days ago now. And so it's been a pleasure working with the mayor, Councilwoman Herbert, and my colleagues on council. And, Columbia is a beautiful city. It's a complex city. And one thing that's a privilege about serving at large is I get to kind of see all the parts and try to put them together. And one thing I think we do on council is try to make sure every district has a great quality of life and has high level services from the city. And that requires attention. And I hope that the people of Columbia feel like they are heard and they're getting the attention that they deserve in their areas. And we have lots of plans, but Mike Tyson says everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? And the storm was one of those. The storm this year was a punch in the mouth. We were all working on so many things. We had to stop everything to try to take care of people's houses, getting food and water. And it was really good working with not just city staff and colleagues, but the community at large to bring things like water, having charging stations at Greenview Park and other places throughout the city. And I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is making sure that we're serving the people. And so I feel good about where we are as a city. I'm excited to see that shootings are down for about 45%. And I feel like people feel safer. That's one thing. If you feel safer now than you did 3 years ago, can you put your hands up?
During COVID.
And that's a good little bit. Some people still don't feel safe, and that's something that we need to address.
I said safer.
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 If you feel safer,
Yeah, safer.
which is the thing. Because numbers can say one thing, but how people feel is what really is really important. That's what we're trying to address. I don't want to go off ranting, so I'll kick it back to the mayor because I know y'all probably have a lot of questions that y'all want to ask. But thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I just, you know, from an economic development standpoint, it's so important because there's things happening all over. I mean, if everything that has come to us comes to fruition, it's going to be like $1.8 billion invested in our community across all districts and everywhere, which I think is unbelievable. And that's showing that people believe in Columbia, and it's going to be great from housing. Tina had planted the seed with a lot of the churches. Now we're getting calls from a lot of the churches who have excess land, wanting to figure out how they can work with us to develop that and provide the housing needs in the community. We're getting people who are reaching out and saying, how do I help mentor? How do I help create apprentice programs? How do I make sure that we open up more opportunities and partnering? And I think you have to understand, we're partnering with all 6 colleges and universities. We have working relationships with all our universities, with Fort Jackson, everybody's teaming together. I mean, having John Dozier, a Columbia citizen at Columbia College, which he reminds me, it's the only college that's named after Columbia, you know, looking to grow and invest. He's from here. We've got Dr. Amaritas at the flagship university who lived here for 21 years. This is the longest place he ever lived. So when he's making decisions, he's involving us from their grand master plans to all the innovation, the hospital that they're bringing. Y'all, we're going to have our version of the Shepherd Center here. That means that folks who have neurological or brain injuries are not going to have to go to Atlanta and be separated from their family. We're going to have it right here in Bull Street. This is the kind of innovation that people are doing, and they're doing it because they care. It's no longer a separation. We are working together. I mean, I can't even get into all the stuff that we're doing with Dr. Artis and what she's done for Benedict College. Her last, somebody corrected me, it's 7 years. I thought it was 6 years that she's been there, have been incredible and engaging constantly. We're all talking to each other. Richland County, we're working together. Thank you for voting for the penny sales tax, because now we got something to fix our roads with and work together on improving every street in every neighborhood, because a lot of these neighborhoods, they're all DOT roads. This gives us an opportunity to take money and go sit down with the state and say, all right, we're coming to the table. Where are y'all? Let's get this stuff done. And but we can't do that without doing it together, and I appreciate y'all doing that. With that, I promised I was going to keep it low. I could talk for another 2 hours, but I promised that we would keep this low so we could open it up for questions. So I know this is not a shy crowd, so I'm not worried about it. Once it starts, it's going to flow.
Hey y'all, so if we could take it like a council meeting, we have 4 people that signed up, and then we'll open up for the rest of the time to free popcorn questions. First is Miss Wiley. I will bring you the money.
Come on down.
This really is a council.
We got no prizes, but you can come on down.
This really is a council meeting, isn't it? Look, this is a council meeting.
Yeah, well, hey, this is a typical council meeting for us.
This is regular council meeting. No.
Oh, you have a seat.
My name is Diane. Hey. My name is Diane Wiley. I'm president of Belvedere Community off of Beltline. I want to thank the community, the city of Columbia, for helping our neighborhood. We was in distress from the 2015 flood, and we are getting our houses done. They still working on it, and that's a plus for me. Me and my husband been out of our house for 8 years, almost now. And I want to thank you personally.
Well, thank you, Miss Wiley.
But I'm going to get to the real thing.
This is just sugar before the knife. You
That's right. I'm a workaholic, y'all. Don't miss no meetings sometimes.
That is
but anyway, we need a new fire station on 11 stations, number 11. You know what it is? Off of 2 Nuts Room.
Trying to see if we got any.
What's the name?
Firehouse is level in Blue Court.
Bloom. I went there for breakfast. They cook good, y'all. The building was really bad. You know, it needs some work done.
Need some love.
Yes. It's right in our neighborhood, right in the back.
Did you bring them breakfast or you just show up to
I
eat?
showed up and ate. I offered to wash the dishes. But anyway, we need that. And I just want to make sure I thank everybody from Leon, he's not here, the mayor, Mr. McDowell, all the city council. Miss Teresa, thank you, love. Thank you. And we want to make sure we get some restaurants, sit-down restaurants in our neighborhood, from Two Nuts Road, Fair Road, Beltline, Fairfield Road, North Main, half of North Main, from Columbia College all the way down. We need some work.
Talking about that with Dr. Dozier today.
That's right. That's right. And if it's going to be Columbia, when it comes through 26, 20, open up that area, make it look good. That's our neighborhood. I grew up here. That's our neighborhood. We want our neighborhood to look like, and we want the walk trail coming through our neighborhood too.
We're going to help you. Now, you got to give me some right of way. You going to give it up?
What I got to give up?
You got to give some land so we can have some.
And back to the housing. We got enough housing.
Just like council, you're hitting your 3 minutes.
Oh, okay. I got 39 more minutes. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody. Anything that you need, ask us. It's a 655 housing development out there. Plus we got apartments and everything else. We just want our neighborhood to look good, lighting, and the speeding is kind of bad, but that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Wiley.
So no question.
Thank you for your question, Ms. Wiley.
No question.
No question.
No question.
Any questions? Any questions? I will be there all the time. And we got our ditches done.
All right, we got some other people.
Thank you.
Next, I have Mr. Butler.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, Mr. Butler.
My question is, how can you help me? Here's what happened.
Okay.
Come on, we're on the back side on the front side of the plaza, which is the back of the plaza.
Which plaza?
Emmanuel Plaza.
Edens.
Since then, we've had the,
Hi,
Where's this?
my name is Florence.
Yeah,
Where's
Edens
it?
Plaza is down there where the old
Can y'all hear
Piggly
me?
Wiggly was. We can.
My name is Florence Butler, and Mr. Butler has on his poster the damaged area from the back part of our property, which is the back of our property is also the back of Eden Plaza. So during the 215 flood, our backyard and our neighbor backyard got washed down from all the water. We did apply for FEMA, but they said it was, you know, they have stipulations and we didn't meet any of them. So we also have pictures of where the city came out and worked on the sewer. And over a course of time, we are losing our backyard. It's all sloping down. We had a windstorm come through and it blew the fence down. So he came today to see if there was some kind of way. We're not asking you to build it back. We're asking if you can help assist us into getting the property restored.
What all does that involve?
Also in that area,
Yes, sir.
also in the area, you have several easements. One is the city, which is the city sewage that runs between the property of Eaton, Platter, and Beverly's areas. You also got the million, which is one of our biggest problems because we got light poles in our yard, and it shouldn't be there. It really shouldn't be there.
How long's it been there?
It's way overdue, Mayor.
what has happened is that when the city comes, like we have the easement in the backyard. The city is straight down the middle of the backyard, okay? So when they come, if they can't get to the sewer line, what they do is they'll have to come in our yards and cut the area that runs under there to the easement, which
alley.
is in the alley. Okay, once they get through doing that, now I take pictures because of the fact that I know that water and stuff don't just come the next day. So I've talked to them, and, you know, they'll come and put some dirt over the whole thing, but then when the storm comes, the flood
It flushes
comes,
out.
it washes it all away. So then when it starts washing it away, you know, we try to put things back and whatever in place. And I've talked to quite a few of our colleagues here, and they said, we'll come check on it, we'll come check. And I talked to some people, last year we did, and I talked to someone else here, and he said, we'll come a few days, and I think I've talked to...
Well, it's your lucky day. Everybody who can help is in this room. So
Yeah.
before you leave, we'll get with you, Mr. Shealy and his team, and our stormwater team and Public Works. Everybody's here, so we'll get you connected before y'all leave today.
Yes,
We all
and-
retired, so we'll be at home.
And that's the other part. Everyone listened, but no one asked the magic question. What's your address?
Well, that's because that's what they're getting ready to
I
do.
understand.
Because we're not letting you leave until you get with them.
We'll
I know where the back of Eden's Plaza is, so I have a feeling
It looks great now because the kudzu have it. That's the only thing that's saving us.
there's a kudzu.
And not only that, the back part that's open, when someone brings it to the plaza there, they jump the fence and they run through my yard. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, cut through,
Now it's a cut through.
cut through.
And this is just one last thing I want
Yes,
to say
ma'am.
about the area. I've been talking with the zoning person
Yes,
that
ma'am.
for commercial, because of the back part of this property, everyone used it other than the merchants there at the, they would bring, there were beds, there were washing machines, whatever.
Dumping.
So I've been talking with him, I've been recording people. 'cause
Is it
my
being
back-
dumped? Is it people dumping stuff?
Yes, it's cleared up now, it's cleared. We've been working together, because I have a tablet that I go out and record people dumping trash. And I've been talking with.
Get their license plate so we can give them a ticket.
It's kind of hard when you up here and they way down there, but I've tried. But what I wanted to say is, we had a couple of days rain in an area that's normally high. I called him on the phone and I said, we have lakefront property now. So not only was it was a problem with the debris and disease, we also had standing water there because the drain had became clogged from all the stuff there. But I want you to know that we have been talking with the people, with the city. We are good neighbors. When we see something that's out of place, we call and report it.
Thank you.
So I just want to say that, and I live in Belvedere where Ms. Riley is our president, and we too say thank you for looking out for our neighborhood. We've been there almost 50 years. Myself and my husband, my neighbor, my brother-in-law, we have maybe 125 years total. It's a wonderful place to live. We have all the convenience with 2 buses going by. We used to have grocery stores.
I'm going to put you on a poster. You selling our city better than anybody.
It's a wonderful place to live. And, you know, you can walk, you can do anything. It's a beautiful place.
Thank y'all for being here. We'll get with y'all.
We have 2 more signed up, and then we'll do open questions. And we just ask that you stay in your seat so that everyone can have and hear your conversation. No, y'all are good. Mr. Alexander.
Thank you. My name is David Alexander. First of all, I will definitely stay in my seat. I reside at 1627 Brunswick Drive in Prescott Terrace. My concern is that I believe in technology. I believe what you're doing with the city is great, upgrading everything, getting involved. We woke up one day and then all of a sudden this company, Loomis, was there digging up our yard. And I had no idea what was going on and who was Loomis. So I did my own little investigation, found out where they are. Actually talked to Justice Smith. I even contacted Councilman Tyler Bailey as to what is going on. We didn't hear anything.
They didn't put the door notifications, nothing? Because that's part of what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to do it a week before they even show up, right? 2 weeks?
When they started digging, first of all, this is a bigger issue. And the bigger issue is the community in which we live in. I live in Prescott Terrace. The other issue is at Harlem Heights. If you go from Fry down to, let's say, Cody Road,
Yes.
Haynes Road, Prescott, that whole area is neglected. Okay, now this is a city meeting, not a county meeting, and the city taxes, which I agree with, up to Councilman, they have not paved any of our roads. We have the worst roads. We have natural speed bumps on Cody Street, on Coon Road, natural speed bumps from the weather to winter. Huh? You can borrow some. But the point is, those roads are neglected. Here they are putting down fiber optic lines for our community to upgrade that. And this is one individual company in competition with other AT&T and so forth and everywhere. And they have that privilege of doing that to get in the game. But the roads are horrible. And how did this come about that Lumen's got this contract to do this? As opposed to AT&T, other companies.
It's a franchise.
It's a franchise.
It's a franchise agreement. It's not that they got a singular, they didn't compete. It wasn't, I guess it's not a competitive contract, but just like AT&T had to put their wires down and all the different other.
So let's say
Spectrum.
Can you tell that's not necessarily my space, but in order to have the services, someone had to go through and put all the lines in.
Okay. Now AT&T wants optic service. Now, what if I don't want their service?
You don't have to take it.
You don't have to. That's what I understand. But the fact is, what if AT&T decides to put optic lines do? They're gonna have to go and do the same thing again. This is insane. So if let's say Spectrum decides to do the same, or Dominion one day decides to put their power lines underground, they have to all do the same.
I hope they do that one day, to be honest with you.
We want
This is
them
something that should be well thought out, that more than one company could have done it.
Well, there are multiple companies have put it out there, but to me, the real issue here is that you should have received notification long before they even started digging, and the project manager who was out there should have been knocking on doors and talking to folks, because that is a requirement of what they're supposed to be doing.
We don't have no conversation. I contacted several council members. Tyler Bailey was the only one who responded back to me as to what it was, and then I contacted Justice Smith directly at Loomis, spoke with them, so on, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah, we had
yeah.
we had talked and we had gotten the number to make sure you had the project Lorenzo or Justin. Well, Tyra called me.
Well, yeah.
And I had talked, Tyler was calling me, and we got you the number. But yeah, they were supposed to go through a procedure. So that's important for us to know, because that is things that they're required to do under that agreement. And if they're not doing it, then we have to suspend their work.
I did get some calls from Coon Road, but they said they did get the notice. They were just, because they called before it happened. So some of the folks right around the corner got the notice, but they were more concerned about what is this that was coming. And so we sent Ben out there, one of their representatives, and I think he went to Fairwall's meeting. And he went to a couple of houses.
He was invited.
Yeah, he was invited.
Yeah. Yeah, I made that
We'll reach out to
connection.
Loomis.
Yeah.
We know where
But
to
there's a
find them.
contact person that we can get you, and he'll come to your door. I've sent.
I found that Justin Smith. So,
I have someone else, but yeah.
All right.
And the final person that signed up in advance is Mr. McNair.
I guess, listening to this conversation, the one thing that's been left out of this conversation, and my thing I want to talk about is financial literacy. And the thing about why I want to talk about that is because you was talking about new homes, buying new homes. But some of these people, because of, the thing about financial literacy, I think that would empower a neighborhood, because let's talk about credit score. I'm not talking about now my credit score, but the community's credit score. That's going to leave a lot of people out of opportunity even to buy a home because of their credit score. And the thing about, and I'm looking at my neighborhood, I'm looking at we have a strip mall, and the thing about it, when you have a strip mall and you have all these predatory lending things, that's not going to help a neighborhood. That's going to take away from the neighborhood. Not only do you have the predatory lending things, you have a liquor store. You have all these things that's going to take away from the financial health of a neighborhood. And the thing why I said we need to start doing something about with banks or something, to give more literacy for the neighborhood, because the thing about it, you're talking about buying a home, and if people don't understand the contract they're signing for a home, and you're talking about a business, if they don't know anything about a business, we talk about, a lot of business coming in, but how many businesses are retaining themselves? Because as soon as they start a business, they might last maybe a year, because they don't have any kind of financial literacy to be able to know how to operate a business.
And that's part of our.
We're going to have to really talk about financially engaging the neighborhood to make them financially strong, to make them more of a viable entity within the community. But then I don't want to talk about one other thing about that area. No, 3 things that's going on in that area that's is kind of problematic to me. Not only is it a food desert, it's a pharmacy desert. It's only one pharmacy down on Lower Main Street. Now all of a sudden it's becoming a banking institution desert because Wells Fargo is leaving out of that neighborhood. You got First Citizen, that was a bank, but all they are is a drive-through bank. They don't do any kind of financial services there. So you got to go to Parkland. So anybody in that neighborhood from where Prescott Terrace, even North 21 Terrace, Meadow Lakes, or Greenview don't have access to a food, a pharmacy, not banking. So you're depleting from the neighborhood. So but we're talking about the overall health of the city. Let's start isolating that. Certain communities don't fall into that improvement.
But let's address it one issue at a time. You throwing out the whole world at one time. So let's talk about that. Number one, literacy. We have an opportunity. We've got banks who will come and sit in our neighborhoods and workshops and work with you. Security Federal, I can name a dozen banks right now who are all wanting to help and do that and be part of that, showing people the path. Columbia Housing has a program as well to help people to graduate and how to get there. It's a very good point, and we need to be there to help folks. We also have a whole lot of programs within the city, our community development. Our OBO office runs fast-track programs. They have all types of SCORE programs to teach people about businesses and questions that they need to learn. We've got groups like Connections out there doing right now, teaching people what questions to ask. So all of this is available. We just need to make sure that people ask the question or we do more outreach. So that's on us working together to make that happen. Fair? Fair? But that's now on us because you've identified it, so now you're in charge of helping. All right, Mr. McNair, you're in charge of helping us do it. The other thing is we talk about, we put in a program for folks with Medicare and Medicaid for Instacart to deliver free because we do have a food desert. But we ain't going to change a food desert if we don't have the density. So all these empty lots and all these things that are in our community, y'all, we've got to rebuild these neighborhoods. We ain't getting a grocery store any other way because they can't survive. Look, Save a Lot, we brought it up from death twice. It's been empty for 7 years now. Spartanburg, South Carolina just finished investing $900,000 to bring a Piggly Wiggly back. It didn't last 9 months. Grocery stores, it's about density and volume. So on us, we got to work on that together. And the only way I knew to do that is to bring more housing, more opportunities so we build back our neighborhoods. Y'all, we lost 9% of the population out of this neighborhood. In this area, 29203, 4,000 families have left here. We got to change it, but we can't do it alone. We got to do it together. And that also means us looking in the mirror, going, you know what, we gotta keep our neighborhoods clean. We can't just let our people drop trash in our neighborhoods. You see dumping? Let's clean it. These things make a difference. When we're bringing people to come see the area and say, we want you to invest here, what do you think somebody will say we ride around a neighborhood and somebody doesn't take care of stuff? You know, how many people in here work their lives to build up their house and stuff and then other people detract from it? This is where we have to work together. That's why our code enforcement, all our people, we got to work together. We got to work together on that and build it up because we've got the tools, we've got the people, we got the knowledge, we've got it all. That the only way to do it is working together on that. We've got to change the narrative. Because I'm going to tell you, the whole crap that I hear all the time, 29203 is high crime, that's all BS. I'm just telling y'all. This neighborhood, I'm not afraid to walk in any part of this area, of this town. I'm not afraid to see any of it because I know the people here. But we've allowed other people to dictate who we are and what we do. We've got to stop. This is on us. This is on us working together. That's why they're always out in the community. That's why we want to have meetings like this, because only way we're going to change it is to do it together. I mean, look, we're even on the internet fighting these people who are telling us we're a high crime city. It's not true. People telling me that 29203 is a high crime area. You know what? If you look at it geographically, you take all the stats that our police department has, it's less than 1%. That doesn't define a community, and we got to fight back from that. We have to fight back, and that means that we got, like the old days, when I grew up, you got in trouble in the neighborhood, you got it from the neighbor first, and then you got it twice when you got home. We gotta treat things that way. We gotta treat it that way, because you know what? I believe in you. I'm with you. Let's do it.
We have about 10 more minutes. And so we'll get to as many people as we can.
I wanted Bambi Gaddis. I live in MLK, Lower Waverly. One, you noted about, in our last meeting, as of yesterday, the officer who presented made a specific conversation on numerous occasions about the lack of police force. The deficit of police force. So part of my first question has to do with what strategies are being explored to figure out how we make that more, or incentivize people to want to work for the police force. Because some of this is policing, some of it's not, but some of it is, and people want to be protected, and that's the first people they call. But if we don't have enough people to respond, that's the issue. So that's my first question. Number two, I want to edify neighborhood associations. There's a lot of things that are going on, and when they talk about not having access to information, right before us, we have the mechanism already developed, but it's not being utilized. Developers who come into our community, it's an amazement for some of us how we can know some things about how do we maintain the integrity of our community, while on the other hand we don't have a clue what's actually happening. So we have zoning is part of this process. Long story short, how is it that some developers can come in our community, set up shop, build buildings, we don't know who they are, what's the purpose of those residences, totally changing the landscape of a community, totally buying into your statement about things are changing and just single-family households are no longer appropriate in some cases. But in some cases it is.
Yep.
And I would request that the city create some kind of equitable process where when a developer targets a neighborhood, that there be some onus to go to the neighborhood association, make them aware of their intentionality, and allow us to give feedback. It may be unreasonable, it may not be in alignment with progress, but as people who own homes in our neighborhoods, we have the right to know, not to drive down the street and see 5 new structures and not have a clue, and I can name them, MLK, Lower Waverly.
Let's talk about that for two things. I think, first of all, on the police, we are having to utilize our force. You know, we need more officers, there's no doubt. But I'm going to tell you, our guys and ladies are doing an incredible job. Look at the numbers with that, and with the tools, but they need help because we don't want to burn them out, retain. We're trying different things in recruiting, and we're trying to recruit out of state, to be honest with you. Because right now, if you're recruiting in state, all we're doing is stealing from another community or another agency, which is creating another deficiency. We're doing some creative stuff. Our recruitment team, and I know I'm going to let the chief because he loves to talk
You ready
about
to
his
get out?
team. So come on, Chief. I'm gonna let you, because then I want to talk about the housing piece, because there's some really good things and some really bad things going on, and we need to talk about that.
As long as you didn't interpret my statement as a criticism.
No, I didn't. I didn't take it. I took it as, hey, what do we do to help?
They need help.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gaddis, for that. Let me tell you what, so first of all, the support that law enforcement gets from this community and from this council and this city manager is the best I've ever experienced in 34 years. This is mine. It's my 10th year here, and the progress that we've made is incredible. But let me just go down a punch list of what I call retention. First of all, I think your budget is your greatest value statement. And our budget has increased every single year that I've been here. They just approved a 15-step pay plan. Our off-duty rates for our officers, when we have all these vendors, all these events, went from...
Tell her how many events you have to do.
347 so far this year. We've billed outside vendors for these events to the tune of about $1 million. That's what our officers, that's their earning ability outside of just their standard duty. So their signal 30 rate has gone up. Our investment in technology has been a force multiplier for us. 600 cameras, our license plate readers, an investment in a real-time crime center, new uniforms, new vests, internal vests, external vests, new weapon system with lights and aiming systems, a new headquarters we're going to be moving into in the next 18 months, a new range, a classroom at the range is being built, over $8 million invested in our fleet. You see what our officers are driving. There is more technology in those cars, more room for the officers, more room when we have to transport, we can safely transport people. We haven't had a line of duty death, an in custody death since I've been here. We haven't had an officer involved shooting in multiple years now. Our use of force is some of the lowest you'll find anywhere in the country in terms of almost 7,000 arrests a year, and we'll have less than 100 uses of force. It's incredible. It speaks to the quality of people that we're hiring. We've also looked at what we call for service mitigation plans. So we have tried to think out of the box on how we can reduce. There's nobody in the state that's more busy than the Columbia Police Department, but there's also one capital city, and that's here. We deal with things that are unique to being a capital city. We deal with a lot of the same things that our partner agencies do, but there are some things that are unique to being a capital city, and a lot of it is festivals and some of the extra duties that we have to deal with. You know, in North Region alone, and Metro Region, about 60% of their time is dealing with the homeless population right now. That's challenging. Policing was not designed to deal with some of the quality of life issues that we are challenged to deal with now. And if you think just a few years ago in the defunding movement, it was they wanted us out of that business. And you know, you wouldn't find a police chief in the country that wouldn't say, yes, we don't need to be in the homeless business or the deal with mental health issues, but we've had to adapt to that. We have mental health clinicians embedded with our officers. I mean, we roll on calls now, and that's why some of our uses of forces are down so much. Some of the innovation that we're deploying along with our technology is allowing us to do more with less, but you're exactly right, and I appreciate you advocating for us because this challenges our capacity. Our officers are tired. I mean, there's no question about it.
And I know there's a negative connotation, but high schools may be a place to potentially recreate the imaging of the police department to young people who are looking for careers. I seldom, my grandson is no longer here, he's moved to another state, but rarely did he ever talk about having interface with police force as a career.
We've had more applications these last couple of years, and so far year to date than we had the year before than we've ever had. But the problem is they don't make it through the process through a variety of reasons. And the other thing, yes, we recruit outside of the state, but you know, every person in this room, I challenge my officers all the time, if they'll recruit one person, just one, if everybody in this room would recruit one person, think of the impact we could have on our city and on the department. And there's nothing better than a homegrown police officer.
100%.
Grow in the neighborhood or in the city. So, I challenge you all to help us there. You know who they are.
He'll send y'all all home with an application. Y'all bring him one applicant.
Good level-headed people.
So,
Good level-headed.
again, I thank you for bringing attention to that. I can't say enough about the men and women that put this uniform on every day, and our professional staff that support what we do. They just do an incredible job. But I cannot imagine doing the job that we do in the city that we police in if we did not have the support we have from our elected officials and our manager and our public. I mean, we'll stub our toe every once in a while, but you all got our backs. We know that. And you also know if we make a mistake, we're going to own it. We're going to own it. But thank you all for
Thanks,
what you
Chief.
do for us.
And, you know, on the housing side, you know, here's where we have a little struggle. If the lot is zoned, how do you prevent somebody from building a thing? You can't. One of our challenges is let's work together. Your neighborhood, for example, 142 empty lots. 142 empty lots. They didn't empty last week, and they didn't empty a year ago. They've been empty for 2 decades. So what we've got to do, just like we did together when we met talking about the church property, let's start being progressive about that and let us work together to bring the right development team, because that's what my manager's doing. She's bringing us a group that are going to be the folks that you want to come there to help us redevelop that neighborhood.
We've had, and I think some of the developers are here, they had the courtesy of coming to the neighborhood. Again, I made my comments solely to talk about the role of neighborhood associations and the fact it's an avenue to disseminate information to the community so they can't say they didn't know about it.
And I want to add to that, we got to get our neighborhood associations activated. You know, we have 150 neighborhood associations. You know how many of them show up to CCN and other places? Very few. So one of the things that we're going to have as a challenge this year is, as you know, we have to charge for garbage can delivery and the block parties. Well, we're going to have a challenge this year. You join and participate. We're going to give you a gift certificate so that you don't have to pay for those services. But you got to be involved in CCM, because if we can disseminate and grow and build that network, that means y'all can gain and learn from each other. It's just like going.
My last comment is that
you never have a last comment, Bambi.
That parking thing, we don't want to go from $5 to $60. I'm done.
Well, Dr. Gaddis, one thing I want to add, too, is that what the mayor says is correct about zoning. If a developer wants to come in, they can come in. But to some extent, it is y'all don't bother us when y'all call us and tell us about these things.
Right.
Yeah.
The situation that happened when we had the meeting was because y'all reached out to council members. We talked about it on the record at a council meeting. We had a meeting in the neighborhood. It seems like that worked out. That process can work, but it is also incumbent on the neighborhood associations and neighborhood leaders. If there's an issue, tell us about it. Bring it to us. Don't try to go, I mean, you can call the city and they'll give you what they can, but you can reach out to your council members and we'll jump in the middle, get in the mix, and we'll figure it all out.
I think how we work together on that potential project for Millwood is the way we ought to do it, because we had an opportunity to talk about design, we talk about home ownership and rental and how it looks and what we expect and the standard that we're looking for. Because the one thing we want to do is raise the standard. We're not going to allow people to continue to build junk in our community anymore. There's a level that we're expecting as people come through.
And we still need Rams Alley paved. It's been a slow process.
That is a slow process, Robert. Robert. Graham's Alley.
We'll have, if, depending on, y'all's time, we'll
Go
have
ahead.
a live question, but then please come connect with staff and us, and we will.
Hi.
Hey, Miss Regina.
Hey, how are you? So, the questions I had, they go right along with what some other folk have said.
Yes, ma'am.
One is people coming and letting us know when businesses are opening in our neighborhoods. I wake up, drive down the road, or if I happen to go at night, then I see the lights on the new bake store. Now, I saw the lights on the bake store across from Zesto's on.
You trying to give me a heart attack tonight? You know that's my pet peeve. I can't stand that.
Yes, sir. Across from Zesto's on Forest Drive, I saw those lights, and I said, how did this get here? Well, the next week in their council meeting, it was on their agenda.
We're in the process right now working with our staff on signage around all these vape shops and liquor stores. You know, they've suddenly become these big billboards that are and I think it's a safety issue, number one, and I think it trashes our neighborhoods. I do not like the way it looks.
So I would like to know, and it used to happen when businesses were coming into our neighborhoods, someone in the business office would tell maybe the captain in the neighborhood area, and the captain would tell the neighborhood association president. Now, I don't know if that's the way it has to go now, but I do know that like right now, there's a store that's trying to reopen. We said no 3 times. They're over there steady building. And we have no idea what is going to be there. We shut them down 3 times. So we need to know that, and there's not been a Z. So what will happen is they will invest all this money into that building, then they'll go. And then they'll say, well, we put all this money into it. So that's why.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but you can, if you send us the address, at least we can figure it out.
And I did, and I think they're going to, somebody, but I'll text you. The other is the right-of-ways with the homes. There are homeowners, as you said, that are in our neighborhoods. If we have a situation where this man, it was a crazy lot of stuff on a house next door, and he was so upset. And I said, well, you never told me it happened. You never told me. When I went to look at it that night after our community meeting, and I immediately called whoever it was, they came the next day. They removed dogs from that lot. They trimmed it and everything. The only problem now is there's the right-of-way in the back. Who does it belong to? The city says the state owns it. The state says the city owns it. And the stuff is growing up and messing up his fence. And he's saying,
Send us the address so we can look it up.
so is it city or state? And then the cut-throughs, that's the same thing, another issue. Is it city-owned or is it state-owned? So is there a way we can develop a quicker way?
You should be able to tell from GIS if you go on the computer and pop it up. It should tell you right away and you click on it. So, but send it so we can do the research for you.
Cooperative Ministries has financial literacy programs.
Preach it, preach it.
And it's in 29203.
Hey, Mr. McNair's going to be holding some workshops over here now.
Okay, so we have Cooperative Ministries there. And if we could get more of the Explorers Clubs into our neighborhoods, working with the children, we can grow our own. Melron Kelly was an explorer. The problem is the children at one time didn't want to be seen as a snitch or whatever they are, or something. But if there's a way we can put a positive spin on it, we'll gladly take one up at the Belfield Center. Gladly.
Yes, ma'am, we hear you. Thanks, Miss Regina. Thanks for what you do for advocating. I see a hand way over there, and I see one here. That's got to be Miss Tracy.
Yes, good evening, good evening. So I just want to say I am looking forward to the beautification of your gateways into downtown.
All 9 of them. All 9 of them.
I-20 and Farrell Road. Can we please have some meetings with flowers and all that stuff? Because what these gentlemen pointed out was the obvious. You know where your African-American neighborhoods are, and you should not be able to distinguish.
I agree with you.
We are very dissatisfied with the ugliness once you pass Columbia College and you head to I-20. So please.
All of our gateways are not pretty, and that's one of our priorities.
I-20 gateway into the city.
I-20, I-126, Faro, Monticello. You can't even read the sign when you come off Monticello. The trees have grown over all those beautiful lights we have up there, and a lot of that's DOT. This is why the penny was so important. So that now that we have some leverage to sit down with them and take care of some of these issues that have been neglected, because out of all the gas tax money, just so y'all know this, they collected about $6 billion, all right? 5.2 of that is going to highways, 200 million is going to bridges, 600 gets split between all 46 counties. That ain't enough to address our issue. That's why that penny was so important. Not only to keep our transit system and to grow that, make sure we don't lose the DART and everything else, but for us to have the ability to address these issues and think, when you come to the capital city, I don't care what gateway you go through, if it's Monticello or Bluff Road or I-126, it ought to look pretty and it ought to welcome you. And that's what we're going to do. Right here, Lyman Munson.
Good evening. My question relates to bike paths on North Main Street. Spent a lot of money redeveloping North Main. It's a beautiful street now, all the way out to Fairfield. And no bike path. I just don't understand why the road would be redeveloped and a bike path not installed. Looks like there's space for it, but there isn't one.
Well, I'm hoping what we can see is that we narrow North Main and these other areas and make safe areas and have pockets not only for bike paths, but also, look, I just got some pictures sent from Nashville, and they were able to do it very inexpensively, narrowing the traffic, which slows it down, creating bike paths, but also parking pockets as well. So you had bike paths and pocket parks by lowering that down, pocket parks, but parking spaces, so that we can encourage growth up North Main. Look, you go from Elmwood all the way out is nothing but opportunity. So if we start connecting our neighborhoods together, start building our neighborhoods together, then we've created that. So yes, we need to work on that.
Second point, so when people are driving in, it is an arterial, major road into the city from the north part of the city. And you get to River Drive and North Main, and there's, going north, there's a turn lane. So everybody coming north can turn left on River Drive. But going south, the traffic in the morning turns left on Confederate, but it's a one-way turn. So there is only a turn lane heading north, not a turn lane heading south. So that just backs up
traffic.
Everybody. I don't know if everybody else wanted to go a problem.
To turning onto North.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I got you.
Yeah, and it's kind of like they could have done it, but they didn't do it.
Can we talk to DOT about that, Robert?
We can, but we got a neighborhood issue there also, a cut-through issue. The neighborhood is not wanting traffic on Confederate. But we can talk about it.
It's one of those neighborhood things.
What about the bike path? Can we do that now?
Excuse me, and I will address that a little bit. I think Danny can address it. I believe that the funding, because it was done through the Tiger Grant, did not allow for bike paths back then.
But see, now we have an opportunity because we got some money. It's called the penny.
Well, I would just, the Farrell Road thing was a disaster with that last bike.
I'm gonna get you a
I
bike for
was
Christmas,
hoping.
man.
Yeah.
Is that it? Hey, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, but secondly, I hope that you will understand how important it is for us to be engaged in communicating. All of our information's on the web. All of us are here. I mean, call our cell, text us, engage. There is no small problem. They're all problems that we want to solve. And we can't do anything if we don't know about it. So it's very important for you to share with us if there's an issue going on, but also tell us if you see something that we need to go after. Restaurant or anything like that, a business, is there somebody we need to make sure we're supporting? Because together, we're going to change things, but we only can do it by communicating. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.